Hi guys! This week I learned a lot about financing and budgeting for a coffee shop. Before I share about that, please subscribe to our channel and help us grow. The bigger our audience is on social media, the higher chance we have to be successful. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lorena. Me and my husband challenged ourselves to open a coffee shop in 365 days. We have zero financing, zero experience, and we want to just take you along as we figure it out in hopes to inspire you if you have your own dream that you want to pursue, and we challenge you to do within 365 days. If you want to join in on this challenge, use the hashtag 365 days to launch, and then we can connect with one another and support each other's dreams as we go for these crazy things. Okay, so this week I got to talk to a business loan expert, set up our donation website for crowdfunding, and start our financial spreadsheet and add those numbers in. I'll break each of these down in today's episode, but first, look at our baby's girl's first laugh.
Who did? Who taught you that? Oh my! Oh my!
So I accidentally got a call with the business loan. I actually was trying to call and make an appointment to go in, and the person on the phone used to be a manager of the loan department back in the day, and she gave me all the tips. She was super sweet. She was like Southern. She told me a whole life story. We were like on the call for a whole hour, but she pretty much broke it down for me. So it's been super helpful, and I will share with you what she said. So hopefully it can help you as well. I don't know if you can see this sheet, but it's like there's a few different options on financing your business. Some are credit cards, which is similar. It's just personal credit cards or business credit cards. A small business loan. This is probably one of the best ones. An equipment loan, an acquisition loan, commercial real estate loan, construction loan, and a secure line of credit. Small business loans are probably going to be the best just because they have a really good repayment options. They're kind of like friendly for your small businesses, but it's really hard to qualify. You have to have experience in that industry already. So if you're starting a coffee shop from scratch and you never owned a coffee shop before, there's a really small chance that you'll get qualified. But if you already have a coffee shop and you want to open a second location, or let's say your equipment broke and you need to buy more things for the shop, then that's probably a really good option for you. For all other loans, you either need a big down payment or showing proof that you have great personal finances. That means your debt to income ratio is really good, and that also means your credit card utilization is no more than 30%. Your credit score also has to be good, something like 650 and above. This one's pretty tough for us because we had just bought a house, I just found out I was pregnant, and I lost my big marketing director job. I was unfortunately too sick while I was pregnant to even work, so I understand why they had to let me go, and I have no hard feelings for that company. In fact, I loved working for them. But it kind of made us use our credit cards during that time. And while I was pregnant and sick, I definitely wasn't able to work. And then when I finally felt better, I was too pregnant to get a job. Every job I applied, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to leave because maternity leave isn't just a couple months. So it didn't work out. And then I had a baby, and then you know how it is with a brand new baby. You're trying to figure your life out. There's no way you can work. So until that whole time, I was unfortunately unable to work, and I had income that we decided on the house for, and so we kind of had to use all of our credit cards. So our best bet now is to pay off as many of those credit cards before we apply for a loan, apply for grants so that we can get a good down payment, or raise money from our community to use as a down payment. Speaking of raising money, I tried a few donation websites and finally found my favorite one. It's called Give Butter, and I think it's a great site. You should take a look at it. It has like it says on there it has more than 130 features. It has things like text to donate, donate with Venmo, donate with a QR code. It has like a really cool bar so you can see like your goal and everybody donating towards it. It has a way to update all the people who donated on kind of your progress, which would be really fun to do, kind of like sneak peeks of what's going on with our project. One of my favorite features is that you can host a live event through there for all the donors. So everybody who is rooting for us can see our grand opening, and even though they're in different states or they can't make it, then they can see and celebrate with us. If you want to donate to be a part of that, even like $25 would be so helpful, because imagine we can buy like an art print on the wall for $25 or something like that. Every dollar will count towards something. It's super expensive to open a coffee shop, and I'll get to that later, but any dollar amount is so helpful. And if anything, it just shows that we have the support behind us to go for it. And even if you do $1, you'll be updated and shown all the like secret footage. The last thing I want to talk about today, which is kind of the meat of this episode, is about financing and budgeting for a coffee shop. This topic is very overwhelming and it could be very daunting. I think a lot of people don't open their dream businesses because of this topic specifically. But I got a lot of help to figure it out, and I want to share it with you guys. I started taking a course from coffeebusiness.com, and it kind of helps you open a coffee shop from ground zero. I think it's a great course so far. I love it. They gave me like an example on how to do the financing portion of it, and I applied that. I also looked at a bunch of websites and did some research, and then I also called some people and asked them for their advice. So I created a template on Notion, and I love Notion. It's kind of like a project management system. I pretty much run our whole business through here. I have my checklist in here on opening our coffee shop. I have all the content information for making these videos, and I now have the spreadsheet. I want to eventually create like a template and a bundle on how we manage our business and how we launched our coffee shop so that I can give it to you guys. But until then, I just wanted to show you how to create your own spreadsheet just in case you want to do it. Okay, so this is the one that I started for us. It kind of has the spreadsheet with all the costs and different columns, and then it also has this chart that's kind of the preliminary financial evaluation, which I was able to get from the course I was taking, so that's super useful. But today I wanted to show you how to make this kind of spreadsheet. And I'll even take it another level than mine and show you how to filter it so it's like easy to use. Okay, so first and foremost, you can pretty much add any function in here, any rows in there. You could just click the plus button, and we're going to create a database table. So we're going to scroll down to a table view. And then we're going to create a new database, and we're going to call this one Coffee Shop Financial Sheet, let's say. And then what you will see is kind of like a Google spreadsheet. You have different columns and rows. So we're just going to create the columns that make sense for this specific thing. And then I'll show you kind of how to like organize it. So the first one is going to be the name of the item. That's what I have right here. So I'm going to click on that and just rename it to item. The other thing I want to tell you is the cool thing about using Notion versus a Google spreadsheet is you can have information and data living within your items. So this is the one, like only this column does that. But the cool thing about that is, let's say you have syrups, right? I can open it just as if it was like a folder on the desktop, and I can add notes in here. I can add links. I can add pretty much all of the research I need for this specific product. Or let's say I have a connection, I work with someone to get that product, I can add all that in here. So that is super, super useful. You can also comment. So if you have a team, like me and my husband run it together, then I can tag him in here and we can say, hey, I found this syrup. I think it'd be really cool. What do you think? Can't do that on Google Spreadsheets. So I love Notion. Okay, so that's kind of the overview of that. Now let's get through the columns. We have the first one in here is category. So we're gonna go ahead and create one of those. Tags is not the one that I want. So I'm gonna delete this property, and then we're gonna create a new one by clicking the little plus. You will see that it has a lot of different types of information. You can make a text, you can make a date, you can make a URL, etc. So what we're gonna create is a select. That's kind of like select from a drop down of categories. So we'll click that, and then we will click add an option, and we'll say this one is the menu inventory. Click enter. Then let's add another one. Let's say it's furniture. Click enter. You can also click the little arrow on here and change the color if you want to, or you can make them all the same color. That's just a little option for you. And then you can resize it too, the little column if you need to. So let's do a little an example one. We'll say seats for the coffee shop, and we'll say syrup. So the seats will be furniture, and the syrup will be menu inventory. And now on here, it's the category is first. Okay, let's do that. And let's click and hold and move it in front of the item. Perfect. Next, we want to create an estimated and actual costs list. So click the plus again. This time it's going to be a number. The number format right here will make it into a US dollar. And then we'll call this one estimated costs. Click enter. And let's just duplicate this one to make it easier. And we'll duplicate it and call this one actual costs. Perfect. Now, since this is a number, what I'm going to do is hover over the bottom of that column. We're going to click calculate. And I'm going to want to have the sum of that number. And same thing with actual costs. Let's say it costs $2,000 for chairs and $100 for syrup. Now we're going to need to create another column that explains which one is ongoing. Syrup we're probably going to buy every month, and which one is a one-time startup cost, which is the seats. So let's create a new column. We'll make this one as well a select from the drop downs. We'll call this one frequency. And then we will create an ongoing costs one. Click create, and let's do a startup costs and create. Except for this is the other way around. We'll call that one ongoing and that one startup. The only other thing that I might want to add for now will be a URL. Let's say I want to click on URL. I want the link to product. That way I can quickly add the link to these products. Now that I have, let's say you filled out this whole sheet, what you're going to want to do next is organize it. And there's a really simple way to do that. You can use filters and you can use sort. Sort will organize the list that you see here. So let's say I want to sort everything by the category. It's ascending, and I'm going to click save for everyone. Now, if I add another furniture item, you'll see that it automatically goes together. So it's all like in one area. Other thing I can add is a checkbox. This one will be just, that way if we purchased it, we can just check it off. We'll put that up there. Let's say we purchased the seats already, okay? Now let me show you how to filter it. This is my favorite part because I feel like it really helps you organize like your data, your information, and it helps you create really cool systems. So the filter just shows kind of what you see, right? This is like the table, so you can rename this and it will say like home view, okay? And then I want to create a new filter that only shows me the startup costs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click duplicate, rename this one startup costs, click enter, click filter right here. And I'm going to do it by frequency. And I'm going to say if frequency is checked, if the frequency startup cost is checked, then I want to see it. And you save it for everyone. Make sure you always do that so anyone else who's on your team can see it. And now what you see is you only see the startup costs. So that's really cool, right? Now I'm going to duplicate that one and call this one ongoing tasks. And I'm going to click filter again. And this time, instead of the startup costs, I want to click ongoing costs and click save. So now you have a home view of everything. You have a view of only your startup costs, and you have a view of only your ongoing tasks. The other thing you can filter is if it's complete or not. So let's say this is my home view. I don't want to see anything that is complete because I just want to have like a checklist of things I need to get done. So again, we're going to duplicate the home view and we're going to call this one purchased items. And then we're going to filter this one. And instead of frequency, this time we're going to filter it by purchased. If the item is checked, please show it on here. And then we only see checked items, right? And we can go back to the home view, and here we can filter it, same thing by purchased. And we're going to say if the item is unchecked, then show it to me. That way, if let's say I just bought the syrup, if I click checked, it will disappear from my to-do list and it will go straight into the purchased items. This is where it can be really fun and you can do things like organize your content creation, your social media, etc. through this kind of system. So I hope that was helpful. There's like a million other things you could do with Notion. There's so many free tutorials on YouTube, so I highly recommend you look at those. And like I mentioned, I hope I can have this spreadsheet for you one day just to make it easy, but I wanted to show you how to use it and how to create your own so you guys can use it for different things. I really hope that was helpful for you guys, and I hope you're enjoying this video series. I hope it's inspiring for you and you're learning a lot. I'm actually making a list of Christian-owned coffee shops to interview, so I will share those soon. But I wanted to ask you guys, if you have any questions that you want me to ask these people who have experience, then please comment them below. I'll be talking to people from all sorts of areas, from having just a mobile cart, to having a brick and mortar coffee shop, to having more than one location, to having a coffee shop in a church, and even roasters and farmers who grow the coffee. So be sure to subscribe and we'll get those episodes to you soon. Okay, God bless you guys. Bye.